And what really attracted us to Brighton was not only the city itself and the idea of living in such a vibrant, sort of diverse city, but was the fact that it's an interdisciplinary approach. Like, alongside the main option, we're doing a core course on critical traditions in Western thought, which is sort of Enlightenment thought, the philosophy and the study of philosophy of science and that kind of stuff. And that really, you kind of think, why am I studying this? But then as the course goes on, you realise that everything ties in very well and you just get a broader understanding of everything.
The nation state itself is actually quite a modern phenomenon, and certainly a world full of nation states is a very recent phenomenon, really, when you think about the scope of human history. So that's where we start, explaining what a nation state is, challenging some of the assumptions behind it, looking at some of the theorisations of that, and then we move fairly rapidly through the 19th century, which we call a kind of era of British domination, industrial development and so on, imperialism, scramble for Africa, the tensions leading to the First World War, the Russian Revolution, the post-First World War settlement, the interwar period, rise of fascisms in various parts of Europe, the Second World War. But it's not a straight kind of, this is what happened and this is what happened next kind of course. We're interested in how these events are to be explained.
What this pathway on the humanities degree attempts to do is to integrate these considerations into a cohesive view that mobilises the insights of economics and development theory together with political analysis and ideology critique in order to make that history something that isn't simply about the development and decline of the West or the rise of China and India and the BRIC countries, but sees these things as part of a cohesive whole and provides an intellectual backdrop that isn't straightforward and simple, that looks at the contradictions and tensions between different approaches, but then develops the skills that the student might need in order to have a cohesive understanding of how this world works.
I teach the second part of year 3 of politics, history, ideology. In other words, the final term of it. And this is where we deal with the contemporary situation, the nature of the contemporary global order. So when I say contemporary, we're talking post the end of the Cold War, where we are now. So I often think of the whole thing really as leading up to this final term, because what I'm interested in is how to explain the world I live in. And history for me is really one of the tools that enables me to do that. You know, I mean, some people are interested in history, if you like, for its own sake, and I suppose to a certain extent I am as well, but really why I want to understand the nature of imperialism in the 19th century is to have some kind of reference point for something which may be imperialism in the 21st century.
In first year we studied a lot of philosophy, a lot of history, a lot of cultural studies, a lot of democracy, and it's always relevant when you're studying the politics, history, ideology, as I am now in second year. You find yourself constantly relating stuff back to that, and that sort of translates into everyday life, I think, in the way that your brain is sort of wired now to see connections between things that you wouldn't normally see, and to be a little bit sceptical, to question things, not taking things at face value, I think is very important. It's something that is noticeable when I go back to my hometown, I see my old friends and stuff, and we talk about things, I find myself picking up on little different things they say, and just the ability to look at things from a different angle and understand different points of view, I think, is something you gain from this course.